What's up, guys? Your favorite player one, Richard here, out filming another bourbon hunt. And today we are at a store that has been on the top of my list to film at since I first started shooting these type of videos. And that is none other than Buster's, located in Memphis, Tennessee. Now, there are actually two locations, but this is the OG, located on the corner of Highland and Poplar, just a few minutes drive away from the University of Memphis. If there's something in particular that you're looking for, chances are Buster's has it. And we are, in fact, looking for two very specific things. The first is going to be that new Tennessee whiskey coming out of Sazerac. The distillery is called AJ Bond. Now, the second thing that we are looking for is going to be the pre-made Old Fashioned from Penelope. They just released a blackberry version. I love the black walnut, so I'm hoping I can get my hands on a blackberry and see how it compares to the others. So enough standing here in the parking lot. Let's go inside and take a look at Buster's. Now, this store is absolutely massive, and like I shared before, if there is something that you are looking for in particular, chances are Buster's going to have it. And they have whiskey hidden all over the store. Well, not really hidden, but all over the place. So with it being such a big store, we're going to kind of just whip through some different things here. So the first thing that you're going to see is going to be on one of these end caps, and this is just a lot of allocated items. So we see that they have the straight rye, the straight bourbon, and the Kentucky straight whiskey. All of these, well, actually, I believe this is last year's. The flamingo is going to be the animal that they're featuring on this year's particular bottles. I'm not sure if these are, oh, well, it helps if I slow down and read. These say 2026, these are from 2025, so it looks like these new rare characters are starting to hit the area. Now, next thing that we see over here is going to be that new Riviera American whiskey finished in rosé wine cask. I've heard mixed reviews of this, but it looks like they have two here, if that is something that you're looking for, and then several of the creme brulees. Steward release, that Old Fit 7. Now, one thing that I did want to point out are going to be these two different options of Elijah Craig. They have a 10-year store pick that is coming in at 125.4, and then right next to it is going to be an 11-year 129 proof C924. Both of these are at the same price, $89.99. So right here is where they do their tastings, right by the cash register. You can see lots of commemorative 250th anniversary whiskeys. We'll ignore those, but they have that Whistle Pig there. But what really got my attention is going to be these. Now, these are all but gone in our area, so I was very surprised to run by these Evan Williams 250th. A little bit more than what I paid when I went and got my bottle, but there's 3 left. I really enjoyed it, so I may be picking up another one of those. Now, like I said, there's just whiskey everywhere. There's Old Glory store pick. I'm hoping, oh, this is with the Bourbon Legends. That's pretty cool. Let's see here, 124 proof sweet mash Tennessee whiskey. My good friend Martin was telling me about this one. He said it's fantastic. But as I was mentioning before, hoping to get to go with Major Zero and some other influencers in the area up to Old Glory at some point in time in September. Blue Note, huge setup here. We know that we love this cast. Oop, that's not the cast strength. That 101 is really good, but they do have their own pick here, 116.8 proof, which looks to be about the same price as what we paid when we went and got ours from Cheers. Now, we haven't even made it to the whiskey aisles yet, and there's just tons of stuff here. They have that Russell's Reserve barrel pick, plenty of your Blantons. In fact, you can see just cases upon cases. Buffalo Trace, 1792 full proof. And then we even have that E.H. Taylor small batch. Pretty close, or pretty low price. I think I saw one for around $50, maybe a little bit less, at another store out my way. Now, as we turn around this direction, here's another end cap that tends to get a lot of attention, and that is going to be where they keep some more of their allocated items here. That Old Charter Oak, been seeing that, haven't picked it up yet. Usually whenever they get like their special wellers and stuff like that, this will be where that they put them. They do have a store pick of Sazerac rye. They do have that 100 proof, still waiting for that full proof to hit the area. Now we're gonna walk closer towards the back of the store to see some of their different store picks. Now they have things like tequila and rum. We're not really interested in that. We're gonna be focusing obviously on whiskey. Now here's something that I haven't seen in too many areas, and that is gonna be these new single barrel stave finishes. Now they have one of each. This is the American Oak Stave 109.52, which I do believe that they will allow you to do tastings at their tasting bar. And then this is going to be their French Oak Staves 119.7. Huge fan of the wheat. That is 125.1. And then they have a couple of others as well. Heard some people talking about this one in my Discord group that I follow along with. That Hulling Station single barrel 107.8 proof, 7-year Buster's store pick. Once these are gone, they're gone. I believe this is the distillate that they used before they could start making their own whiskey. Still got all these store picks. This is one that's really caught my attention. Cask strength Tennessee whiskey single barrel 121.5 proof. Says it's distilled and bottled in Tennessee. It doesn't say where though. It just says it was bottled at Joe's Got a Gun, Columbia, Tennessee. So it doesn't say where the distillate came from, just that it was distilled and aged in Tennessee. Several other picks. This brand doesn't get a lot of attention, and that's Koval, coming out of Chicago. I have family that lives up that way. Got to try one of their oat single barrel whiskeys. Really, really good. I wish we could see this in more stores here in the area, at least the barrel picks. Hill Rock, Old Elk. There's that Duke. We found that in, what was that store? Robert's Package Store. It's, focusing on the legendary John Wayne. Ooh, Jefferson's Cognac Finish Cask. That sounds pretty good. All right, other side of the store picks. They have the Jack Daniel's Rye single barrels and the Tennessee whiskeys. If you're looking for some really good rare characters, they have a rye and they have a Tennessee bourbon, both at cask strength. 122.4 for that bourbon, 118.64 for the rye. But really, this is something I'm surprised is still sitting here. They have the Bee's Knees store pick. This is one of the higher proofs that I've seen in the area, 113. Most of the ones I've seen have been in the low 100s. They have the Oloroso Sherry Cask, Project X Cognac finish, which I had one of these from a different store. Fantastic. Several other Penelopes. Now, what really just landed that everybody's excited about are these Appalachian Barrel Companies. 3 different offerings here, different age statements. So these top 2 are going to be your Kentucky Straight Bourbon. This is the 9-year, 123.24 proof. And then the 10-year, slightly lower proof point, 106.68. Looks like different mash bills, 75, 13, 12 on this guy. This one is 70, 21, 9. And then can't forget about the rye, 6.6 years old, 95.5. Mash bill, 104.66 proof. And we still not done. Another blowout. This one is 291 barrel proof single bourbon coming out of Colorado. Aspen stave finished, 128.7 proof. Distilled from a rye malt mash. It sounds pretty intriguing. Got lots of stickers there. Hopefully that means that it's good. Copper and cask. Blue Run, New Riff. all these other types of store picks. I promise we will start actually looking at the aisles, but there's so many cool things in between that we need to take a look at. So this is a special bottle that was made in collaboration with or celebration for Overton Park here in Memphis, celebrating the 120th year, 100 proof. I've heard really good things about that. Only one of these left. And like I said, they do partnerships here. This is going to be for the Memphis Fire Department Association. Also 100 proof, $75. They also had one, I think we saw at another store, that was focusing in on the Memphis police. All right, now we're ready to start looking at actual whiskey through the different aisles, and if I see something that's cool, then we'll stop and talk about it. But because this is such a large store, we're going to kind of whip through things. So the first thing that really catches my eye is Bardstown. Why did you change your labels? There's nothing wrong with this. You don't need to do that. A little bit too much. All those standard things here. We did see these coming out of Nashville when we were in Jackson. Then we call that the Batman building. They have the small batch, the single barrel, and the red corn reserve. This single barrel, let's see what proof point it is, 132.3, 6 year. That sounds actually pretty good. More Bardstown, Old Elk. They have a wheat and rye and a double wheat. We're gonna skip all that Jim Beam. Here's an American single malt. That's just kind of tucked here on this bottom shelf. It needs to be up a little bit higher. Bring more awareness to those guys. I believe this is a bottle that our friends over at Poor Decisions Pairing reviewed a while back. Tennessee Straight Bourbon Whiskey. If I remember, Brandon and Mary said that this one kind of reminds them a little bit of barbecue sauce, which makes me think a little bit more of one of my favorite distilleries, which is Andalusia. All right, next aisle. Of course, because it's a big store, if we see something great, we'll stop and talk about it. I do love Chattanooga whiskey. This Founders Edition, at least the 12th and 13th anniversary blend have been great. So I'd imagine the 14th is good as well. They like to talk about where they've been, where they are now, and where they're going in this particular blend. Something worth checking out if you are interested. Really curious about this maple syrup cast finish. Something I might have to grab as well. Moving right along, there's that Traveler foolproof. I did not care for this, got to try that at the distillery, so I would imagine probably not going to be very high on that one as well. Let's see, anything else that really stands out to me today? Not really, at least not on these shelves. Good to see Clyde Mays, that Alabama distillery, doing some things there. Not a whole lot of offerings from Dark Arts. That's pretty surprising. Something here on the bottom shelf. Not seen this before. Hunter and Scout Bourbon Whiskey. This is 90 proof, product of Virginia. Blend of American whiskeys, highlighting single grain whiskeys and flavors of Virginia. Huh. They have two different offerings there. It looks like they have their bourbon, and then down here they have their rye, also at 90 proof. Oh, why are you doing my friends Larrikin like that? Putting them here down at the bottom. They have that American maple and that bottled and bond. All right, more great stuff here. Just shelves upon shelves of whiskey. Again, if we stop by something that I see that's interesting, we'll talk about it. Let's see what larceny that is. That is their store pick, 123.6 proof. Nothing really. Here's an 8-year. Their store pick, 120. Is that an 8? 128.1. Oh, I see something we're going to talk about here in just a second. Oh, here we go. Smoke-Eye Hill. This is another, I think, Tennessee distillery. They have 3 different offerings here. Is this Tennessee? These are all using blue corn. I hold it where you can see it. That is the barrel proof blended rye whiskey, 131.4. aged for at least 5 years. Oh, this is out of Indiana. They have that one. They have their straight bourbon 93 proof, and then this barrel proof 5 year at 132.4 proof. All those are $89. I've heard good things, so something worth checking out. Now, what makes me a little hurt is going to be this here down in the bottom. They have the Pursuit United. This is the old bottles. Newer bottles have the word Pursuit kind of just protruding out a little bit, but this one is signed by one of our 2 founders, Kenny Coleman. 108 proof. This one is fantastic. They only have 2 bottles left, but if you want one that's signed, they have one here. All right, plenty of different purple tops here, ranging from, this is your 4-year 124 proof. We'll skip that. 7-year 122.6, 11-year 124.4, 12-year at 118.6. Can't forget about the green tops. Same thing here. 10-year 125.6, 12-year 122.8, and then their 4-year at 116. Oh, I have 2 4 years. This one's at 109.99, and then this 8-year purple top as well. Several different offerings of barrel here. What is this? American Vatted Malt, a blend of American single malts. 118.22 proof. Oh my gosh, when it says blend, they ain't kidding. Distilled in New York, Texas, Indiana, New Mexico, Washington, and Arizona. That's quite a extraordinary blend you have going on there, Barrel. So we're in the Tennessee whiskey section, so I would assume that we would maybe come across that AJ Bond if they have it here on the shelf. Now, we mentioned earlier talking about different labels. Looks like Angel's Envy has changed theirs up a little bit. Used to be here, no sticker. Looks like they've added stickers to it. I wonder if that just helps ease the process with bottling. Who knows? Not really seeing anything else that's standing out to me worth showing, but we'll continue to look just in case something's standing out to you. Now, this is intriguing to me. Hidden here again. This is going to be from Westland Distilling. They do American single malts, but this says a American blended whiskey, 95 proof. I wonder what it says on the back. Let's see here. A blend of 8-year whiskeys combining a rich quality of American single malt with light characters of whiskey from America's heartland. So this looks like a blend of American single malts from Westland Distillery. 85 proof. It's not too bad for an 8-year product. Bell Mead. They got a tiny one here on the bottom shelf. We're not going to look down there. I've heard good things about these, but I've also heard that it was a company that went away for a while and then got purchased by Nelson's Greenbrier Distillery. That honey one that they had several years ago is one that I'd love to try. All right, Whistle Pig has been gaining a lot of traction lately, or at least popping up a lot more. There's that Still Austin. Looks like they're sold out of that cast strength rye. Only have one of the cast strength bourbons here. So you might have to settle for the regular, which I'm sure is just as good if you are looking for that Still Austin in the Memphis area. Several more of that Redwood Empire. Leaper's Fork. I'm not really seeing too many things that are standing out to me, and have not come across those 2 things that we were looking for, that AJ Bond, and haven't seen that Penelope Blackberry either. Well, this is interesting. Reservoir. They have a rye that says 20 year 20. I don't know if that means that it's 20 years old. 100 proof. That's interesting. And then this guy right here is their wheat whiskey. This says, oh, okay, 2022, not 20 year. That'd be crazy. Wheat whiskey also at 100 proof. All right, final shelf. Hopefully we can find what we came in here for. Like I said, tons of things. If you're looking for it, chances are they have it. Could just end up being that they have not hit the market with that AJ Bond. I know that I've seen some people, I think Everyday Pours showed on their video that they have it in Murfreesboro, so that's a couple hours drive from us. Not gonna make that trip, but Minden Mill, really cool distillery out of Nevada. Definitely worth checking out. All right, well, I went and asked an employee, and they're going to go see if they can find out about that AJ Bond. But in the meantime, we're going to look and see if they have that new Penelope. And unfortunately, it does not look like they have it on the shelves. Now, out of these three, Black Walnut is my top favorite, closely followed behind that Apple Cinnamon. This is great for around that Thanksgiving, Christmas time. Didn't care for that peach, was a little bit too bitter for me, but all around pretty good bang for your buck. Hopefully that Black Walnut will be up there as far as taste goes as well. All right, so of course I had to give these two a try. This is the American Oak Staves and then the French Oak Stave. Same mash bill, slightly different proof point. Actually, the French Oak is going to be 10 points higher. Let's try the American. Pretty good, very soft. All right, let's see out of the two which one I prefer with the single.
Yes, sir.
Okay. That American Oak, I think, is going to be the one that I lean a little bit more towards. All right, guys. Well, that is the OG Busters located here in Memphis, Tennessee. And unfortunately, we went in with a goal and did not walk away with the things we were looking for. Not from a lack of trying, but just from a lack of distribution. Unfortunately, those two items, that AJ Bond Tennessee Whiskey and that Penelope Blackberry pre-made Old Fashioned, just haven't made its way to Memphis yet. So, but we did not leave empty-handed. In fact, we are going to walk away with a Tennessee Whiskey from the folks over at Old Glory, located in Clarksville, Tennessee. This bottle was done in collaboration with our good friends over at the Bourbon Legends. So Bourbon Santa, Chill Will, and all the folks over there are doing some pretty cool things. Make sure that you check them out, and check out Busters if you're in the Memphis area. All right, guys, as always, I appreciate you sticking until the end. I'm your favorite player, one Richard. Have a good one.